Everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about 100 amazing facts about the leopard. We will go in ascending order. We will start with the simplest facts that almost everyone knows and finish with the rarest and truly surprising ones. Point 1. Who is the leopard? The leopard, Panthera pardus, belongs to the genus Panthera and is a close relative of lions, tigers, and jaguars. It is a predatory mammal from the cat family that combines the power of the big cats with the agility and stealth of smaller felines. Point 2. Evolution and origin. The ancestors of the leopard appeared in Asia several million years ago, as evidenced by fossil remains that are 2 to 3.5 million years old. According to paleontology and genetics, the modern leopard finally evolved in Africa about 470,000 to 825,000 years ago, and then spread again across Asia. Point 3. Size and sexual dimorphism. Among the pantherine cats, the leopard is considered the smallest. Males usually weigh about 60 to 80 kilograms, while females weigh around 40 to 60 kilograms. The sexual differences are expressed not only in weight. Males have a more massive skull and musculature, whereas females are noticeably more slender and lighter. Point 4. Distribution and range. Historically, the leopard occupied a vast range, almost all of Africa except the Sahara Desert, Western Asia, the Caucasus, India, China, Indochina, and islands such as Java and Sri Lanka. The leopard is one of the most widely distributed big cats. It occurs in savannas, tropical forests, mountains, semi-deserts, and even near human settlements. Point 5. Remarkable adaptability. The key to the leopard's success is its incredible flexibility. It can live in very different conditions, from dry deserts to humid jungles. This flexibility also applies to its diet. A leopard can feed on large ungulates as well as rodents, birds, reptiles, and even fish or crabs. Point 6. Coat and unique spots. The leopard's fur is covered with rosettes and spots, whose pattern is unique to each individual, like fingerprints in humans. The shape and density of the spots depend on the environment. In dense tropical forests, the coat is usually darker and richly golden, while in colder regions it is paler and with thicker fur. Point 7. What panther and melanism are. Black panthers are not a separate species but leopards with melanism, when a genetic mutation causes more dark pigment to be produced. On close inspection, the characteristic spots can still be seen on these animals' fur. They are simply darker than the background. Point 8. Body structure and tail. The leopard's body is relatively elongated and very muscular, with powerful fore and hind legs and a long tail. The tail acts as a counterbalance during jumps and quick turns, allowing the leopard to change direction sharply while running or moving along branches. Point 9. Special ankles and tree climbing. Leopards have a special ankle structure that allows them to climb tree trunks with incredible agility and even to descend headfirst. They are considered the best tree climbers among big cats. Leopards spend a lot of time in trees, resting there and even hiding their prey. Point 10. Strength and ability to carry prey despite its relatively small size. A leopard can kill prey that is 2 to 3 times heavier than itself, for example a young giraffe. Its powerful neck and shoulder girdle allow it to drag the carcass of a large animal high up into a tree, out of reach of lions, hyenas, and other scavengers. Point 11. Hunting and attack tactics. Leopards are mainly solitary, nocturnal hunters. They rest during the day and go out in search of prey at dusk. They rely on stealth and stalking at close range, then launch a swift rush with a powerful leap and a grip on the neck or throat. Point 12. Speed, jumping, and swimming. A leopard can reach speeds of about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour over short distances. Although it is not a speed champion like the cheetah, it is also an excellent jumper and swimmer. It can make long vertical and horizontal jumps and even catch fish and crabs in the water. Point 13. Vision, hearing, and other senses. A leopard's vision is adapted to twilight. It can spot prey at a distance of up to 1.5 to 2 kilometers. Its hearing is about 5 times more acute than that of humans, allowing it to pick up the slightest rustles in thick grass or dark forest. Point 14. Voice and communication. Leopards can roar, although their roar is much quieter than a lion's and often sounds like a rough cough or chuffing laugh. Besides roaring, they purr, hiss, snarl, and emit distinctive contact calls that help them communicate with each other over distance. Point 15. Territory and solitary lifestyle. Every adult leopard leads a solitary life and controls its own hunting territory, which it marks with urine and claw marks on trees. The home ranges of males are larger and may overlap with the territories of several females, but the animals generally avoid direct contact. Point 16. Reproduction and cubs. Gestation lasts about 3 months, after which the female usually gives birth to 2 to 3 cubs in a secluded den, a cave. rock crevice, or a hollow under tree roots. Newborns weigh about 500 to 700 g, are covered with thick fur, and have blue eyes that later change color. Unfortunately, less than half of the cubs survive to 1 year of age. 17. Family behavior and risks. The female carefully hides her cubs and frequently moves them from place to avoid attacks by predators and cannibalistic males. It is known that an adult male may kill cubs that are not his own so that the female comes into estrus sooner and can mate with him. 18. Lifespan in the wild. A leopard rarely lives to 12 to 15 years because of harsh conditions, competition, and human influence. In captivity, with good care and protection from threats, its lifespan can be roughly twice as long, sometimes up to 20 to 25 years. 19. Rare subspecies. The Amur leopard. The Amur leopard is the northernmost and one of the rarest subspecies, inhabiting the southern Russian Far East and northeastern China. It requires mixed forests with dense undergrowth, and its main threats are logging, poaching, and the decline of hoofed prey populations. 20. Relationship with humans and conservation. For a long time, the leopard was considered a problem predator because of attacks on livestock and competition with people for territory. Today, many subspecies are protected. Nature reserves and monitoring programs have been created, but poaching and habitat destruction still remain serious threats. 21. Different leopard subspecies. The leopard has more than 8 to 9 described subspecies, each adapted to its own region: African, Indian, Sri Lankan, Jovan, Indo-Chinese, North Chinese, Arabian, Persian, Amur, and others. They differ in body size, fur density and color, spot pattern, and ecology. Island forms, like the Jovan leopard, are smaller and darker, while northern forms are larger and fluffier. 22. Flexible territory size. The size of an individual leopard's home range is extremely variable, from about 8 to 10 square kilometers in areas with abundant prey to hundreds of square kilometers in poor regions. When food is plentiful, the animal may lead an almost sedentary lifestyle, but in poor or seasonal habitats it becomes more nomadic, constantly shifting its hunting boundaries. 23. Territorial conflicts. Clashes between adult leopards are often very severe. Fights over territory or a female can result in serious injuries or even the death of one of the rivals. At the same time, the animals try to avoid direct fights, actively using the language of scent marks and display postures to warn the opponent and part ways without a battle. 24. Invisible language of marks. Social relations in leopards are built almost entirely on scent and visual marks: urine, claw marks on bark, scrapes along paths, and feces placed in conspicuous spots. From the scent, a leopard can understand who passed by, the animal's sex, approximate age, state of health, and even whether a female is ready to mate. 25. Flexible daily activity. Although the leopard is often called a nocturnal predator, this is not a strict rule. In areas with little disturbance, it can actively hunt during the day. Where there are many people or large competitors, lions, tigers, hyenas, the leopard shifts its activity toward dusk and night to avoid encounters. 26. Contact with humans through easy prey, young or old. Weakened leopards often approach human settlements because it is easier there to catch food such as dogs, goats, or calves. These encounters are dangerous for both sides. So, in reintroduction and training centers, leopards are specifically taught to avoid anything associated with humans. 27. Training to avoid humans in reintroduction programs. When preparing Persian, Caucasian leopards for release into the wild, conservationists use a whole system of negative experiences to build a strong fear of humans. The animals are periodically frightened with loud noises, shots from dart guns, and other stimuli so that the leopard learns that contact with people always brings unpleasant consequences. 28. Adolescence as the riskiest period. Adolescent leopards, already separated from their mother but not fully experienced, are most likely to run into conflicts with humans and other predators. They poorly assess danger, may roam far in search of food, enter villages, and suffer from poachers or retaliation by local people. 29. Social structure similar to tigers. Leopard spatial organization resembles that of tigers. A large male has a big exclusive range that overlaps with the territories of several females. Females are distributed according to resources. Where prey and cover are abundant, their home ranges are smaller and density is higher. In poor areas, females live more sparsely. 30. Different behavior styles between subspecies on Sri Lanka. Where the leopard is the top predator, it almost never drags prey into trees. There is no one big enough to steal it from above. African leopards, by contrast, are forced to hoist carcasses as high as possible to protect them from lions, hyenas, and wild dogs. 31. Jovan leopard. As a master of secrecy, the Jovan leopard prefers remote mountainous and forested areas of the island of Java and almost never encounters humans. Its lifestyle is extremely secretive. Population density is very low, and the small number of sightings and camera trap photos shows how invisible it is. 32. Amur leopard and mountain trails. The Amur leopard lives in rugged terrain, hills, deep ravines, and dense forests of the Russian Far East. Several animals may use the same mountain trail, yet rarely meet directly, separating their activity in time and leaving scent marks. 33. Nuances of conflicts in Amur leopards. Young male Amur leopards often wander across the ranges of adult males and can hunt there without provoking aggression as long as they do not actively mark territory themselves. Most conflicts are limited to displays, threatening postures, growling, marking, and rarely escalate into real fights. 34. Diet of the Sri Lankan leopard. In Sri Lanka, the leopard feeds mainly on local ungulates and primates, wild boar, sambar deer, macaques, and langurs. Because there are no competitors larger than itself, it can hunt over a wider range of habitats and times than its mainland relatives. 35. Lack of a strict breeding season. Leopards do not have a strictly defined breeding season. Mating is possible throughout the year, though in some regions there are peaks linked to rainy seasons and prey abundance. A mating pair usually stays together only briefly, from 1 to 3 days, after which they separate, and all parental care falls entirely on the female. 36. Long childhood and hunting training cubs start to be introduced to meat at about 1.5 months, and at 4 months the mother already brings them to her leftovers. Young leopards learn to hunt on their own by about 1 to 1.5 years of age, practicing bites and jumps by playing with each other and hunting small animals. 37. Psychology of a loner over millions of years. The leopard has developed a solitary survival strategy, distrust, aggressive defense of personal space, and the skill of vanishing from sight. It has learned to live under the pressure of social predators, lions, hyenas, wild dogs, and larger big cats, using stealth, nocturnal activity, and trees. 38. Urban and suburban leopards. In some regions of India and Africa, leopards have learned to live on the outskirts of towns and villages, hunting dogs, pigs, and goats that congregate near rubbish dumps. This urbanization increases the risk of conflict, but shows the species' incredible ability to adapt even to heavily human-altered landscapes. 39. The leopard's role in ecosystems. The leopard regulates the numbers of medium and small herbivores and also primates, which affects the health of forests and savannas. Where large predators decline, ungulates can overgraze vegetation and degrade forests. So the disappearance of leopards triggers a chain reaction in the ecosystem. 40. Symbol in culture and mythology. In many cultures, the leopard is seen as a symbol of strength, stealth, and cunning. In parts of Africa, it was revered as a forest spirit and a totem animal of warriors. Its spotted skin was used in ritual garments, the clothing of chiefs and priests, and the image of the spotted predator entered legends, folk tales, and modern pop culture. 41. Nomad and resident. A leopard can be either nomadic or resident. When prey is abundant, it hardly leaves its home range, but when food is scarce, it may roam for tens of kilometers. It creates a permanent den only during cub rearing. At other times, it simply uses several favorite resting spots within its territory. 42. Love of height and vantage points for daytime rest. A leopard prefers places with a good view, rock ledges, caves, shelters under rock overhangs, and tall trees. From such vantage points it can hide and at the same time watch the surroundings, spotting both potential prey and danger in time. 43. Precise calculation while hunting. When hunting, the leopard stalks as quietly as possible, using terrain, bushes, and tall grass, and approaches the victim to about 2 to 3 meters, the distance of a single leap. If the charge fails, it almost never engages in a long chase and instead breaks off the pursuit to avoid wasting energy. 44. Energy saving and meat reserves after killing a large animal. A leopard may feed on it for several days, hiding the carcass under deadwood, in bushes, or hoisting it into a tree. This reduces the frequency of hunts, saves energy, and protects the kill from competitors such as hyenas, jackals, and other scavengers. 45. Powerful but targeted attack in one meal. A leopard usually eats about 2 to 3 kilograms of meat, although it can quickly kill a large animal and leave most of it for later. Interestingly, when attacking a herd, it usually kills only one individual rather than scattering several. so as not to cause excessive panic and attract other predators. 46. Remarkable dietary flexibility within a carnivore. Its diet is based on ungulates, antelopes, deer, wild boar, goats, sheep, roe deer, gazelles, and others. But in hard times, the leopard can switch to small rodents, porcupines, hares, badgers, foxes, jackals, monkeys, birds, reptiles, and even large insects. 47. Attacks on other predators. Sometimes a leopard attacks medium-sized predators. There are documented cases of it killing servals, caracals, and small wild cats competing for the same prey. In this way, it both removes competitors and gains an additional food source when other prey is scarce. 48. Ability to go without open water when prey is plentiful. A leopard can go a long time without drinking from open water sources, obtaining most of its fluids from the meat it eats. However, during dry periods it still depends on waterholes and often ambushes prey it approaches to water. 49. Night mode. As a survival strategy, a nocturnal lifestyle helps the leopard not only hunt better but also avoid competition with large predators and humans. In dusk and darkness, its spotted coat blends into the shadows so well that it becomes almost invisible a few meters away. 50. Huge altitudinal range. Leopards are found from near sea level up to elevations of over 3,000 to 3,500 m. In the subalpine belt of the Caucasus, they can be seen on steep mountain slopes. In Central Asia, they stick to rocky gorges with cliffs and boulder fields, usually not climbing above about 1,500 m, adapting to the local terrain. 51. Unusual habitats in deserts and salt flats in Turkmenistan and some other regions. Leopards can live even in salt flats and semi-deserts, provided that sheep and other potential prey graze there. They do not need beautiful jungles as much as a combination of cover and a stable source of food. 52. Preference for cover rather than a specific biome everywhere in their range. Leopards seek places where they can hide, dense thickets, windfalls, rocks, ravines, and trees. This explains why they can live successfully in forests, mountains, savannas, and even near pastures and human settlements. 53. A relatively quiet predator most of the time. Leopards are fairly quiet and rarely vocalize, especially compared to lions or tigers. Loud roars and calls are heard mainly during the mating period, when males compete for access to females. 54. Mating season in northern regions in the northern part of the range, for example, the Caucasus or the Russian Far East, the peak of the mating season often falls in winter, roughly December to January. Estrus in females lasts about 12 to 18, sometimes up to 25 days, during which males track them by scent and fight intensely for the right to mate. 55. Strict solitude outside the breeding season. Outside the breeding period, leopards almost never form groups. An adult animal prefers to be alone so as not to share food or reveal its hiding places. The only exception is a female with cubs and the short time when a male and a female stay together for mating. 56. Dens on slopes and in hollows for dens with cubs. Leopards often choose slopes with a good view, where there are caves, large hollows at tree roots, or piles of rocks. In such places, the female can hide her offspring and still see approaching predators or people in time. 57. Long break between big hunts after a successful hunt for a large animal. A leopard may not go on a serious hunt for 4 to 5 days, feeding gradually on the carcass and resting nearby. This strategy minimizes the risk associated with new chases and gives its muscles time to recover. 58. Precise use of claws. Leopards mark territory not only with scent but also with claws. They strip bark from trees, leaving characteristic vertical or slanting scratches at a noticeable height. Such calling cards are visible to other leopards from afar and signal the size and strength of the territory's owner. 59. Reluctance to chase for long. Unlike the cheetah, which can sustain a high-speed chase, the leopard prefers a short but highly accurate sprint. If the prey escapes to a distance where it can clearly see and hear the leopard, the predator usually gives up and looks for another opportunity instead of wasting energy. 60. Potential lifespan in the wild. In nature, leopards on average live up to 12 to 14 years, although some individuals may reluctance to chase for long. Unlike the cheetah, which can sustain a high-speed chase, the leopard. 61. Camouflage style. The spotted shadow a leopard spots a perfect camouflage, specifically in broken shade, among leaves, branches, grass, and patches of sunlight. It literally disappears. Even at a distance of just a few meters, the animal can remain unseen if it stays still, which is why it is often called a ghost cat. 62. 3 dimensions of hunting. Unlike many predators that hunt mostly in one plane on the ground, the leopard actively uses 3 dimensions: ground, trees, and rocks. It can ambush prey from above, dropping almost vertically from a branch, which adds surprise and reduces the chance of missing. 63. Hunting from a branch over a trail. A common tactic is to lie on a horizontal branch directly above a game trail or ravine used regularly by hoofed animals. When the prey passes underneath at the right distance, the leopard drops down, literally crashing onto its back and knocking it off its feet. 64. Gym of trees and rocks. Young leopards use trees and rocks as a natural gym. They run along trunks, leap from ledge to ledge, and climb over tangles of fallen wood. This develops their coordination, leg strength, and jumping accuracy, which later makes their hunting very effective. 65. Different boldness toward water. Some leopards calmly wade rivers and swamps and can catch fish, while others avoid water and cross only where they can jump. These differences often depend on the individual's experience and the specific environment where it grew up. 66. Individual dietary specializations. Certain leopards become specialists in particular prey types. One may hunt primates more often, another warthogs, and a third fish or crabs. Such specialization stems from a mix of experience, successful hunts, and the features of the home range where the animal lives. 67. Precise choice of a victim in a herd when attacking a herd. A leopard usually selects the most vulnerable target, a young, sick, or distracted animal, for example one focused on drinking. In just a second, it assesses each individual's position, direction, and distance to minimize the risk of missing or being injured. 68. Psychological. Hunting leopards skillfully exploit their victims' fear and confusion. A sudden rush from cover or an attack from above or from the side triggers panic. In the moment of chaos, a single animal may lose orientation for a fraction of a second, and that is when the predator delivers the decisive strike. 69. Short bursts of activity. Long pauses. Even at night, a leopard does not move continuously. Its activity comes in short bursts: searching, stalking, attacking, followed by long periods of resting and watching. This rhythm allows it to save energy and avoid overheating muscles, especially in hot climates. 70. Silent steps and soft pads. A leopard has broad paws with soft pads, which enable it to move almost silently even over dry leaves and gravel. It extends its sharp claws only at the moment of jumping or gripping. During normal walking, it keeps them retracted to avoid making noise. 71. Whiskers. As a radar, long whiskers help the leopard navigate in darkness and gauge distances to prey or branches during a jump. When it grips the throat, the whiskers also help it sense the victim's body position and adjust jaw pressure. 72. Complex package of facial expressions and postures. Leopards have rich facial expressions. Ear position, pupil size, how wide the mouth is open, and tail posture all communicate its mood. These signals are important in rare encounters with other leopards, helping to signal threat, fear, or readiness to mate in time. 73. Tail as a means of communication besides balance. The tail is a signal device. Quick flicks of the tip can indicate excitement before a hunt or irritation. For cubs, playing with the mother's tail and with each other helps develop reactions and understand these tail signals from an early age. 74. Learning through play. Leopard cubs play constantly. They pounce on each other, wrestle, bite, and grab imaginary prey. Through these games they learn hunting techniques, train muscles, and learn to control the strength of their bite and use of claws. 75. Importance of the first winter, or drought. The most critical time for a young leopard is its first winter in northern areas or the first season of severe drought in the tropics. If it has learned to hunt efficiently and find shelter by then, its chances of surviving to adulthood increase dramatically. 76. Intelligence and problem-solving. Leopards have excellent spatial memory. They remember routes, water sources, places where they were once fed, or where it was dangerous. They can change tactics if the one they used before stops working, which shows behavioral flexibility. 77. Wariness toward new objects. Leopards are extremely cautious toward unfamiliar objects such as traps, cameras, or unusual smells. This wariness helps them avoid snares and dangerous situations but makes research and conservation work more difficult. 78. Human impact on behavior in heavily disturbed areas. Leopards become more nocturnal, more secretive, and less likely to use open spaces even for hunting, where protection is stronger and people are fewer. The same animals may appear more often by day and behave less nervously. 79. Conflicts with larger big cats in regions where tigers or lions occur. Leopards usually retreat to steeper slopes, denser forests, and rely more on trees. They avoid direct confrontations with larger cats, and if a tiger or lion appears nearby, a leopard may abandon its kill just to avoid being noticed. 80. Different personalities of individuals. Observations show that individual leopards have distinct personalities. One is bolder and more risk-prone, another cautious and secretive, a third almost brazen around people. These differences affect territory choice, hunting tactics, and how often the animal gets into conflicts with humans or other predators. 81. History of scientific description. The leopard was known to science long before modern field studies. Ancient authors already described it, but it was formally established as a separate species in the 18th century. It was then that naturalists finally distinguished it from the jaguar and the cheetah, which had often been confused with it because of similar spotted coats. 82. Hybrids with other big cats in captivity. Rare hybrids between leopards and other big cats are known, such as lepin, lion times leopard, or jaguar, jaguar times leopard. These hybrids are usually sterile or have serious health issues, so such experiments are now considered undesirable. 83. Spot pattern differences from jaguar's leopard and jaguar spots look similar at first glance, but jaguar rosettes often have an extra dot inside. The jaguar is also more massive, with a very powerful head and shorter tail, whereas the leopard is lighter and appears more long-legged. 84. Very flexible spine. A leopard spine is highly flexible, allowing it to twist sharply in midair or on a tree. This flexibility lets it hide in remarkably tight crevices, hollows, and piles of rocks where larger predators simply cannot fit. 85. Neck muscles and a locking. But the leopard's neck is disproportionately strong for its body size, which is crucial for holding prey in the air or on a branch. When it bites the throat, its jaws act like a lock, maintaining the grip even if the victim struggles, until it suffocates. 86. Different hunting styles in males and females being larger. Males tend to focus more on heavier prey and can afford to attack bigger ungulates. Females, especially those with cubs, often choose smaller prey to reduce the risk of injury and avoid wasting extra energy. 87. Seasonal influence on diet in tropical rainy seasons. Ungulates disperse widely and the leopard must spend more time searching for food. In the dry season, animals concentrate around water, and the predator more often sets ambushes along waterholes and the paths leading to them. 88. Tracks as the animal's biography. From leopard tracks one can determine not only the direction of travel but also approximate age, health, and even emotional state. For instance, sharp turns, frequent stops, and circles may indicate anxiety or searching for cubs. 89. Snow tracks of Amur leopards in snowy regions. Tracks of the Amur leopard are used by scientists to assess numbers and behavior. Track depth, stride length, and trail width help distinguish a large male from a lighter female or a young animal. 90. Reaction to strong stress under strong stress factors. Loud machinery, human presence, dog scent. A leopard may sharply change its usual routes. It tries to avoid dangerous areas even if they have convenient paths or favorite resting sites and remembers such bad places for a long time. The role of hormones in behavior. Leopard behavior depends strongly on hormone levels. During estrus, a female's activity, frequency of marking, and attempts to seek contact with males increase. 91. The role of hormones in behavior. Leopard behavior depends strongly on hormone levels. During estrus, a female's activity, frequency of marking, and attempts to seek contact with males increase. Hormonal changes show up even in small details, such as how often she rolls on the ground, rubs against objects, and invites a partner. 92. Induced ovulation in leopards. Ovulation is largely induced. Repeated mating stimulate hormone release and trigger ovulation. Because of this, during the breeding period a pair may mate very frequently over a short period of time. 93. Play as stress relief in adults. Not only cubs but also adult leopards sometimes show playful behavior, rolling, tumbling, playing with branches or scraps of prey. This activity helps relieve tension, maintain muscles, and keep coordination sharp even in times when there is little hunting. Modern leopard conservation programs include collecting scat, hair, and track samples for genetic analysis. Using DNA, experts identify individuals, measure relatedness, assess inbreeding, and gauge the overall genetic health of the population. 100 more complex than just solitary. Although the leopard is labeled a solitary predator, its social system is much more complex, overlapping ranges, temporary associations, neighborhoods, and hidden communication through scent and tracks. This makes its social life closer to a network than one might think. From the simple description, lives alone.